afternoon, my dear brothers and sisters here on the Great Turtle Island, and welcome to the Turtle Island, and welcome to the Americos Empire. And so greetings from the Creator to the four directions, north, east, south, and west, wherever you may be, and also to the gatekeepers, wherever you may be, welcome and greetings from them. And also greetings from the Cree Nation and other nations who are going to be represented here on this wonderful radio program that we're having today. And I know there's a lot of things that we're going to be discussing today. So also, it is my birthday today. So in regards to the zodiac, it's the month of Libra, which is the scales of justice. And so we're going to be reminiscing, and we're going to be talking about the scales of justice on this radio program today. So, yes, welcome, dear panel. Welcome, Holy Walker. Welcome, Barbara, Three Crow. Welcome, Tracy Kennedy. And William, from all the way from London, England. So, yes. So what's on my mind? And what's in my heart today? In my mind today, and in my heart today, today is September 27th. Tomorrow is a blood red moon, and it happens to fall on one of the Jewish feasts, which we call the Feast of Trumpets. And also we're going to be looking at a lunar eclipse, and the last lunar eclipse happened in 1982, when Prince William was born. So there's a lot of signs out there, and we're going to be discussing signs on this radio program. And the date, September 13th, is a new moon. So there's some ominous signs that they have been predicting regarding that, and I'm sure that we're going to be talking about those things today. And I'd like to touch on a subject. And I know that many programs, we were talking about sovereignty and how to be able to produce documents to the officials. And it seems to me now it's not important at this point in time, but also to get spiritually prepared of all these different signs that are coming, which is mentioned according to the Hebrew teachings, which is written in the Bible. And also to pay attention to the phases of the moon. And this is going to be a full moon tomorrow, the closest it's ever been, because as you know that the moon, when it goes around the earth, it travels in an elliptical. So it so happens when every certain period of time that the moon seems to be larger at certain periods of time, and the reason for that is because of it's on the elliptical. So can you imagine in your mind's eye an egg, and the shortest part of the egg that's where the moon is going to be. So yes, the Pope Francis, Mr. 666 himself, and a lot of people are predicting and are pointing out to Pope Francis, the first Jesuit priest to become a pope. So that means that the black and white are put together in regards to the Masonic Lodge. Very ominous indeed, and if you understand the implications and the meaning behind it, you begin to understand what these people are up to. So the Pope is biblically is talking about the woman, Mystery Babylon, who rides the beast. Now he is the beast, Pope Francis, and he has come to the United States, and so I'm not quite familiar with the dates, but I will mention that the Pope is going to be talking to Obama, and he's going to be sitting with the joint sessions of both houses in the United States, and he's going to be speaking at the UN, and he's also going to be performing a mass in Madison Square Garden. So what are the implications regarding that? What are these people up to? And I know that many different radio programs that we've done, and Tracy and I, in other radio programs, we talked about this. And also, in regards to CERN, in CERN, Switzerland, they said that they found a God particle, and they put this machine on, and it's called a collider, and so there's a lot of scientists that are pulled out of it, and they're indicating and also very, very scared, and they're saying that they shouldn't be fooling around, they're playing God. And what a lot of them are saying, and a lot of people are saying, that they're going to open a dimensional hole or a wormhole where the different dimensions coming from on the other side are going to be coming through to that. So all these different types of things, yes, are happening within our midst, and it's going to affect us one way or the other. And also that they're planning the Third World War. And also with FEMA, the concentration camps are being made ready. So definitely it's a global elite, the evil cabal are planning something in regards to attacking all indigenous people all over the world, whether you're red, yellow, black, and white. They don't care. They have, they're cold-blooded, and they have no feelings. And of course, we talked about it, is that they feed on the energy of fear. And there's a lot of people have also talked on YouTube where they found a lot of hybrids, and they're waiting right now for those things to pop up. So definitely there's a lot of things that we're going to be talking about. But first of all, before I continue on, I would like to pass the talking stick, if I may, to Tracy. And also, Barbara, get ready when Tracy's done. So I want you to talk about how important it is at this point in time about spirituality. So go ahead, Tracy.
Thank you very much, Gerald. We've been discussing things that have happened with the Pope, and this entire week, this entire month, this festival, this feast of, well, I know the feast they think they're making, but almost every day there's been something, right from the attack on Mecca to rainbows in the sky. Now today, specifically, September 27th, 2015, timing is everything, and they are so precise on these things that it cannot be an accident. So Pope Francis will hold a mass for millions in Philadelphia tonight, this Sunday. Magically, on the exact same night as the total supermoon, lunar eclipse, known as the blood moon. This hasn't happened in 33 years. Won't happen again for another 18, when the girl child becomes 18, which is interesting. Philadelphia and Egypt, these are mirrors of heaven. Philadelphia has at its center 3 pyramids. Gaza, Egypt, has at its center 3 pyramids. 3 pyramids in Egypt were the ground model of the constellation Orion, the 3 belt stars, known as Osiris to the Egyptians. Now, the belt stars of Orion pointed to the Egyptian underworld. The Egyptians called that area of the sky the Duat. Gerald mentioned this before. Now, Philadelphia and its 3 pyramids are also modeled to mirror the direction to the Egyptian underworld, the Duat, which is heaven, but they didn't call it heaven, they called it something else. Now, the Pope is out of Philadelphia prison right now as we speak, and his mass will be tonight. So the moon will be on the other side of the world now, I think. So look at the equivalent of the time zones, what it's saying metaphysically, because all of these things are mirrored all the time. Now, according to the Egyptian myth, our constellation of Orion was the underworld, the Orion Osiris star system, and the map of Philadelphia, which is a cosmic doorway. It was always meant to be that. It was built by a Freemason for actually what's happening right now. So Philadelphia was entirely laid out to align with the stars by Masons as a Masonic ritual, because they planned for him to be here, this Pope at this time. It's very significant. And even the cross that he holds, you'll see a star in it. If you look really carefully at what he's holding, this is the grand cosmic alignment. This is the one that has not been repeated. This alignment that we're in right now, the last time it happened exactly like this, today, on Gerald's birthday, 10,500 BC. The exact same astronomical geometric configuration in the sky. All the ancient monoliths all over the world are pointing to this time, and actually the area in Philadelphia, which would once again be aligned with Egypt. And as we were talking about a couple weeks ago, that all of the signs in the United States said that this was the end of the great work, that United States officially ends. This 4th of July was the last one. Now, when we look at Philadelphia, because it's important that he's doing a massive event today, this mega ritual, which this entire thing has been a mega ritual, that Philadelphia is a place of firsts. First bank, first library, first hospital, first school dedicated to science, first American flag, first to be laid out in a grid pattern, first to be aligned with this cosmic alignment. So everything we're seeing and have seen since, well, especially the 1st of September, where we've noticed the last couple of months that even the stars, and we're having the full moons and the new moons on the days that it should, beginnings and ends of the month. So we're in a very powerful time. CERN on Tuesday announced that they got their gate opening. Before they did their ramping up, which it's never stopped. So when you've heard that it stopped, CERN hasn't turned itself off. It can't. That they did open a portal, and that's the word they used. They have spoken exactly about opening dimensions. They've spoken exactly that they've already found something and it's trapped in one of the tubes. They don't know what it is. So they did this musical event again, second time. The first one was a dance, so that was dedicated to Shiva and Kali, creator, destroyer, god and goddess. And again, this was dedicated to the Lord of the world, which this Pope said was going to appear. What he also said is that he will not live 2 more years. He's already said that. He said it before he went on this trip again, that he doesn't have long to live in this world, and that the Lord of the world will be coming back. This is not Jesus he speaks of. This is not God that he speaks of. He's talking about the one from the abyss. Now that could be the underworld of in the water. It could be the underworld in the alignment that we're seeing today. Either way, as Gerald and everyone has spoken of many times, this year, you can't get more ancient, biblical, prophetic than the events going on. And I really have nothing against any religion, but the signs and the wonders and the squares and the Kabbas and the 5 times around the circle, writing around that phi again. This is to bring us to attention. You know, I have many friends and family who are Catholic. What I am doing talking about these things is just to create a platform of discussion of what we're seeing. In religion, there is both great mysticism and awe, but there is also much secrecy and a long history of violence. Religious symbols are very powerful things. Temples are powerful things. And many question the secrecy and the power of the world's religions. So, with slides and locations and symbols involved with this Pope's United States visit, every word the Pope has been speaking has been, yes, inspiring, sometimes controversial. So the reason I bring it up is to say that there are reasons for what he's doing. He got into a Fiat, not because it was a cheap car, but to talk about the fiat currency that he and his boys are driving. So I know that was a long rant, and I apologize, and thank you very much, Gerald.
Thank you so much for that, Tracy. Yes, it is always wonderful to hear from you, but an overview of what you're discussing, yes, could lead into many different discussions. And precisely in what we're talking about, and I know that we've been harping on our indigenous religion, and when we follow closely to the instructions of the Creator. And in particular, I'd like just to mention, there's a book in the London Museum. It's called He Walked the Americas. The question remains, who is this he? And according to the stories of my people, the Cree Indians, is that this he is none other than the Son of God, or the Son of the Creator, in what we call Yeshua. And the fact of the matter is, which is interesting now, in our prophecies we're talking about these subjects now, and the elders knew about this prophecy, so it's here now. I'm quite certain that there's going to be a lot of ceremonies in the Great Turtle Island, and they're returning back to those type of things, where as these ominous signs that are happening, they're here in our midst right now. So, with that, I'd like to pass the talking stick to Barbara. So go ahead, Barbara.
Thank you, Gerald, and thank you, Tracy. Yes, we are really at a very crucial point in our time, in humanity's time. Not just for some, but for all nations. All the information that we are discussing tells us that we have reached a crucial point in time. It exposes the essential key to where we are and where we're going. It has to do with our awakening, and also that we are spirit and more powerful than we have been led to believe. The truth hidden, that has been hidden, is really the true teachings of Yeshua. And it's summed up in 3 little words, but I'm going to go into this a little bit because it's about energy, it's about frequency, and it's about source, and it's about the power that we have. And of course the cover-up. So the 3 little words, basically summed up by Yeshua, was, "You are God." And that is very clear that the foundational flaw of religion, based off of the Bible, as it is primarily taught today, of course, and for the past 2,000 years, is that it teaches first and foremost that we are separate, that we are separated from this force, from the source called God or Creator who I refer to as Creator, Mother, Father, because as I've always said, I believe that everything in creation has the feminine and masculine. And in just my way, I believe that that which could have created or would have created everything with the feminine and masculine had to be also that as well, that essence of the Divine Mother, Father. So you will hear me say Creator, Mother, Father. But it's a contradiction that we are given, because the Bible, specifically the teachings of Yeshua, teach that you are God, that we are all God. If you think that this is blasphemy to believe this, that contradicts what Yeshua said. It is a major preconception that we have basically been imbued with. And this restricts us from ever experiencing directly that source within ourselves. And we talked about that earlier on the Brain Gym, about organized religion and about the Pope and so on, the Church placing itself in between every one of us that are abiding according to that belief, placing someone, another human being, in front of us, in between ourselves and Creator, between us and the Source. So, if we cannot experience directly that we are this Source, that we are God, that God is a Creator, is within us, this is the essence. It's what a spiritual awakening really is. And this is what is needed, is a spiritual awakening, an experience that you are intimately connected with Creator, that you are love, that you are loved, and that you are unlimited, that we as humans are unlimited, that we are that Creator, Mother, Father, that it is within us. It is the creative consciousness of this source that is within each one of us. Now, we have to look at the major spiritual teachers throughout the history. None of them followed a religion, particularly. For instance, Yeshua wasn't a Christian. Buddha was not a Buddhist. But what they did was they practiced the silence, going within. They mastered themselves in silence, in communication. Just themselves and Source. This is a very important piece. There is no one, there never should be anyone, and there was never meant to be anyone between ourselves and Source. So we have to understand what Yeshua did say. Basically, that we are, that you are God. God is within you. God is love. Creator is love. He who abides in love abides in God, and God in him. That was John 4:16. And Yeshua said quite clearly that God is love. He is not loving. He is not like love. He literally is love. You know, we always ask the question, what is love? You know, so we have to understand what we were being told, the lies that we were being told. We are speaking here about energy. That energy that we are has no boundaries. It is infinite. It is the invisible force that permeates the cosmic realm into infinity. And this force connects all things because it is all things. So we've talked about this over and over again, about how we are all related. We are all connected energetically. We are all beings of energy and frequency. It is really to come into this understanding and this awakening that we have been lied to and manipulated, and how we perceive ourselves as weak, as sinners, and that the source of love is so remote from us, and that there is someone between us and that source. And so today, where we are today in this circumstance that we have been all manipulated into, we are responsible too. We have to remember it's not them and us, that we are all connected to this circumstance where we are, but we are not helpless. And we have to awaken, and we have to take the control of where we are going. What do you choose? This is where we are. We are at that crossroads. What will you choose? Will you choose to know yourself as the source of light, that you are spirit, that you are more powerful, that when you go to your heart, that when you are love, that can change the world? When you know peace within yourself, that can change the world. All the things that we're talking about, all very important information. It's quite amazing, this whole manipulation, the centuries of manipulation that have wound us up right here today. We're talking about this. Read behind the lines. Do your research. Get to know what is really going on. Everybody here on Awake is sharing this very vital information. And I feel this is a powerful time. I feel very hopeful. I know that the light is more powerful than that dark. And I know the source is within all of us. And we have to understand that we've been lied to. We are not powerless. So your spiritual self, the spirit within you, is key to where we are today and where we are going to be going. We're moving into the new world, new paradigm. How are we going to get there? You won't get there through fear, and you won't get there through doubt or fear. So the faith in light, in Creator, Mother, Father, and yourself, and in humanity is very key, very important right now. So we have to understand this truth, that God is within us, Creator, Mother, Father, that we are that. And I just want to throw that piece in here and to you all. And I think that you guys, what we're talking about, have really nailed it where we are today. But we don't have to follow the Pied Piper. I'm just saying that. Just want to share that. Thank you. Kalamaya.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Barbara. Indeed, those words are well taken, and we shall definitely take it to heart. You mentioned something too, which is important. The Pied Piper. What is his name? His name is Pan, or Palais. And to add also to these words, you arrive to the word Palestine. Palestine is that the Pope and all the rest of the other people have recognized the Palestinians to have a homeland. That's also for a fulfillment of prophecy. Well, all the different players that are playing a major part in these end-time moves. And I was just thinking, how many people are quite aware of these different types of things that are happening? I'm looking personally at my own duty and responsibility and thinking about my people here on Atakaku Preserve. And I come to that realization, I would say that 98% are not aware of all these things that are happening. That something else is taking over their lives. And you probably know what I'm talking about, is the deception that Barbara was talking about and also Tracy mentioned. Yes, we are in the midst of it. The politics that are going to be made, and the politics reminds me of the policy of them and the police action. We know for a fact that on September 15th of every year, the Washington Monument is a phallic symbol to remember George Washington to be the first Masonic president. And in the construction of the Washington Monument, and yes, you could look up this information on YouTube in regards to the secret architecture of Washington, D.C. But what is of particular importance is about this phallic symbol on September 15th, where the water is, and if you stand on this side of the water and you look at the Washington Monument, and on the other side is the Capitol building, and further down of course you have to mention the White House, all in a straight line. September 15th is the time when the Dog Star Sirius is right at the top and the tip of the Washington Monument. And the Dog Star Sirius is what they call the Star of the Gods. Not ours, but theirs. So they're paying homage in Washington, D.C. on that very date. And I'm sure that when we're talking about all the temples and all the buildings that are constructed as above, so below, is that their whole system is based on what Tracy talked about, the alignment, and what we talk about on different radio programs. It's definitely trying to tap that energy for their own diabolical reasons, and what's what they're doing now today. And that's why the Pope is here. For that specific reason, many different programs I've mentioned about Sir Francis Bacon, when he wrote that book, New Atlantis. That was a blueprint for making these streets in Washington, D.C. for the New World. And they could care less about the first indigenous people, what we were called the Americus Empire of the Great Turtle Island. And in particular, we followed what we call the Iroquois Confederacy, the Giswanta. We made a treaty with them, what we call the Two-Rule Wampum Belt Treaty. That's in the East Coast. And the West Coast is the Canes of Authority. And in the middle of those two is what we call the Peace Pipe Treaty, where the Cree Nation is very predominant in bringing the peace pipe. In regards to the peace pipe, it's a symbol for Yeshua, who chose this one man, and he delegated his authority to this man called Simon Peter. How we say Simon Peter in Cree is Xenapeo Asini. Let me mention it again. Xenapeo Asini is Simon Peter. Now, if you read in Matthew chapter 16, it tells the story of that. The declaration that Simon Peter said, and he said it right, yes. Simon Peter says, "You are the Son of the Creator, the living Creator." And Yeshua said, "Yes, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this unto you, but my Father which is in heaven." It says, "You are Peter, And Peter is another name for rock. And upon this rock I will build my church. I don't like using the word church. I will use assembly or ecclesia. The set apart people. Set apart, the sevenfold Spirit of the Creator that it mentions in Revelations, that was sent forth into all of the earth, so that the red people, the yellow people, the black people, and the white people will receive the teachings from the set apart Spirit. And another word for set apart is holy. When you read in Revelation chapter 4, the beings say, holy, 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 the set apart. So in regards to coming back to Simon Peter, say not be Wesley, to us as North American Indians, Simon Peter becomes a symbol, and that is the sacred Chinopa, or the sacred pipe. Yeshua told him, because of this declaration, says, to you, I give you the keys of heaven. So what that means in translating to our way of thinking in our religion, our spirituality, is the pipe, is the keys to heaven. In our pipe ceremony, in every culture, every ceremony that we conduct, it says, to you I give you the keys of heaven, and whatever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatever you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. What that means is whatever we do on a ceremonial basis, when our people gather together in worship to true Creator and Yeshua leading us, and Yeshua is the high priest of the Most High El Elyon after the order of Melchizedek. He is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. So with that in mind now, we North American Indians and also all indigenous people of the world who have their pipe or Chinopa, they remember that in our ancient teachings. So whatever we bind here on earth, all those things that the Creator says will be bound in heaven. All the spiritual creatures that He has made for our own specific purpose, the Creator have put them there to assist us in this day and age for His kingdom, for His glory, and to make His name holy, which is Yahweh, Father, Mother. But there was another religion that used it for their own purposes. In particular, no disrespect intended for those people whose religion is the Roman Catholic. But that very system, they have said that Simon Peter is the first pope. And all successive popes after that sat in Simon Peter's chair, which is directly opposed to our way of life. And when they entered into our land, the Americos Empire and the Great Turtle Island, they bought their religion and forced it upon us. So we are in the midst of all these different types of things, and you know that I talk about Pope Francis and what his intentions are for the dark side and their ultimate destiny is to put the Lucifer to be the god of this world. All the secret societies is tied to that central focal point, and their policy and their politics and police action. They have the police action there to protect them. Isn't that ever reminiscent of the Patriot Act? And also up here in Canada, Harper has the same legislation that they better not attack Israel at this point in time. And if they do, Harper said that he will use the full extent of the law to punish those people. The Patriot Act and also this legislation up here in Canada, we that who are know about all these different things that we're talking about, is they classify it as the second law of the land. They force that law to all of us, my dear brothers and sisters, whether you're red, yellow, black, or white. They entered there and destroyed our people. This is what happened when Alexander Morris was sent. The title that Alexander Morris was given was he was a lieutenant governor, made and given that title because he was a lieutenant governor of Manitoba that was created in 1871. So, this is 1876, 5 years later. Alexander Morris, Lieutenant Governor of Manitoba. The other name that he was given was the Lieutenant Governor of the Northwest Territories. You got to understand, my people, the people that are listening in Canada and all over the world, Northwest Territories had Indian title. So at the get-go, when we made treaty, Sidney said that the treaties are the law of the land between nations. So, with the understanding that all the lieutenant governors that were selected by the federal government, the Dominion and federal government, in the creation of the Indian Act in 1868, that set the parameters of what Canada was going to be because of the BNA Act of 1867, which enabled Canada to become a corporation in the province of Canada. So with that in mind, the question that I would like to ask, who gave them the authority? The province of Canada was just a button size in terms of the greater land of the Northwest Territories. Who gave Canada the authority to annex all the rest of the other land so that they could join the Dominion and Parliament of Canada? They had an agenda, and the agenda was from the dark side, the evil cabal. They had every intentions of making treaty with the Indians, the North American Indians, but they were not going to honor it because of the unlawful contracts. Everything is all fraudulent in their hidden language of legalese to make it look legit. They start introducing from get-go here in our land. They started introducing words on a gradual basis where it got used to it, and they started introducing more and more and more until we were engulfed with a whole bunch of legal terms that they used to justify themselves of stealing our land and resources that were blessed to us by the Creator. This is an essence of exactly what has happened. when you begin to understand the language and the enemy that we have is in our midst, with the governments that you belong, they are controlled by the evil cabal, these 13 satanic bloodlines who don't give a damn. They are promoting, like I said before, Pope Francis, Obama, Prime Minister Harper, in the United Nations, to make every man, woman, and child a citizen of the United Nations, to create a one world government. It's fast approaching us. So with this in mind, they do not care about the truth. They will continue creeping into our lives when it hits home to create problems. We react to it, and they've got the solution. And their solution, of course, is a one world government, but they're the ones that are in control. And as a result, Prime Minister Harper, he is a puppet being used by the people who control the energy of money. The people behind it are the Anunnaki and the Nephilim, the 13 satanic bloodlines, to make sure that this agenda is going to be fulfilled. We cannot do nothing but be patient, because what the Creator has said, for those people that will return to Him, He will protect His own. In a good book He says, and He warns the evil people, do not touch the apple of my eye. So what is the order of business there for all of us? Is to return to the Creator. To return in His great loving kindness that He has for us. He knows what He wants, and He has given us instructions to follow it. This is the nature of the meeting that happened in Onion at Fort Pitt. The man that Sidney was talking about, Wallace Fox, is the chief of the Onion Lake Reserve. And many other corporate people, status Indians, like Sidney said, in the 1950s, he introduced these people. The people born before that are Treaty Indians. But they introduced a law in 1951. Everybody born after that becomes status Indians by virtue of the Indian Act, the law that they created, which is only one-sided. It has nothing there beneficial for us, only according to their dogma, their way of doing things, the power that they have over money is a problem that we encounter. When it hits home, the whole idea behind everything, the number one issue that every one of us is going to be, we have to come to terms with, is our own spirituality. Is your spirit connected to the light? Is your spirit connected to the darkness? If your spirit is connected to the darkness, we will recognize you by the fruits that you exhibit, the way that you talk, and the way that you act. You become narcissistic, egotistical. You have no morality. You couldn't care about anybody else. You only care about yourself. This is the way that they are. We know who you are. And for all of us that know who you are, we are humbly asking the Creator, we're coming home to you. And this is what He is waiting for. As we do that, as we exercise our volition, our choice. I need His help. I, as a man, Gerald Whitehorse Standing, I need you. I need you to direct my life, because me, as Gerald Icemisters, have wrecked my life, and I've hurt many people in the process. This is a thing that I'm facing now. But in my life, humbly reaching out. And what did Evelyn Lurson say, Deepwater? When she heard that voice and said, "Be still and know that I am." That's the very statement that we must come to terms with and realize that on a human level, when we have a tendency to try and explain or even judge God based on our human terms, shame on us when we do that. So, and many times when I take inventory about myself, there's a lot of things that I'm not happy about, but that's okay, because I can put those aside and concentrate and follow the instructions that the Creator has. I will stop at this moment, and I will pass the talking stick to my dear friend Chris. So go ahead, my friend.
Well, thank you so very, very much, Gerald, and what wise and learned words you're speaking today with much spirit behind them, I presume. It is a very tumultuous time that we live in, unfortunately, and there are evil spirits all around and much evil and just really tyrannical dictators wanting to assume ownership and rule of this world that we live on right now. They're conspiring on all different fronts under various different labels. They call themselves different names, different groups, different terrorist organizations, but I don't think there are any terrorists that are any more threat to our survival than those that pose as governments that try to govern our thoughts, control our lives through the delusions of mere men who presume to have powers of gods to tell others what to do. I think the Creator's counsel for us is that we're supposed to serve Him and her and perhaps self-direct and be a good counselor, leader, steward for our families, to guide our feet to safe waters and protect them from the wolves that would prey upon them at the door. And they are at the door, make no mistake about it. I had calls from a young lady from Alaska yesterday, and she was seeking some confirmation and observation about what I had felt about things that she was sharing with me, and I certainly felt that they had had one preacher in a church that she was attending that she was very uneasy with, and I think they put in a complaint, and then they replaced him with a very overweight, apparently suffering from the sins of gluttony, individual that they brought into her fold to replace this supposed bad priest that wanted to find something acceptable to teaching the people of that area. However, this individual, in my esteemed observation, was sent by Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, or DHS, some government agency, to mask as a teacher when in fact he was a intel gathering individual. He signed up his mind to report back on what was going on. These are in the local assembly areas in the Alaskan wilderness. I also am aware that there are Russian military ships, submarines posed off the coast of Alaska. It's a very short amount of distance between Alaska and Russia there, as we know. In fact, that piece of land was purchased by a sewer purchase from Russia many years ago. And it's a very convenient near bridge. In fact, some suggest it could have been a land bridge that occurred between those two land masses that provided access from those lands to the American lands. But the earth changes that occur in a cyclic nature by nature are just really troublesome and hard to keep track of. And so we must be very, very wary of these wolves who prey upon ourselves, our families, our children in particular, keep them close to you and watch them very, very closely that they might be kept safe and out of the harm of the demon seeds that would pervert them and corrupt them and try to pull them into their evil ways. You know, it's just, these are terrible times that we live in. And I don't have too much for you today, so I'm going to let someone else speak. My dinner just came. But please be blessed and seek the guidance from the spirits above and let them direct you and help walk with you and keep you safe, protected, and travel with blessing, safety, and free from harm. Blessings. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so very, very much there, Chris. And wherever you're going to go, may the Creator be with you and bless you for the time that you took of your busy schedule to be with us at this time. So go with our blessing, my friend. So with that, I guess there's only 3 people now that are on this radio program. That's Sydney and myself and Patty. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us, Patty, at this point in time? Are you there?
Yes, Gerald, I've been listening, and I find it really telling. I just want to say that the topics that you're discussing today with the Shemitah, CERN, all of these different aspects are actually what is being talked about all of a sudden by just about everyone. And I think it is, especially those who are awake and aware, I think that we have connected the dots and we do understand what is at stake here and what exactly is happening. It's not about governments, and it's not about wars, and it's not about famine, and it's not about any of these things. What it is about is a spiritual battle that is taking place. There is nothing more important right now in your life than your ability to stand strong, to know who and where you come from, and to be at peace with your spiritual self, the part of you that is open to creation, that is open to Creator and to all life. This is the communication that is most important at this time. We talked a little bit earlier about the biblical and other religious prophecies, and also the earth prophecies that come from the indigenous peoples concerning this time. There is no doubt that we are here in this moment of great change. There is no doubt that can be brought from any direction, whether it be the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, or the physical world. All of these aspects are showing us and telling us this is the time. And I think that it is prudent at this time to make sure that we are in the places that we choose to be. What I mean by that is we have to decide where we will stand. We have to decide how we will move forward, because we are in the change, but that does not mean that things end, that difficulties end, and everything gets hunky-dory. It means that we are in the throes of the birth channel, and that pain and suffering are going to be an aspect of this. The only thing that we have that can see us through this is our ability to connect with each other, to realize who and where we come from, and to stand strong in that, because within our hearts and our minds and our spirits, we have the ability to make it through this. But we have to make that effort. We have to make that choice, and then we have to stand with that choice. There's some passages in the Bible, and I paraphrase because I've read the Bible, but it was quite some time ago. But there are passages in the Bible that tell us that it is important at this time to make sure that we are right within ourselves. Put the candle in the window. This is where we're at right now. And it doesn't matter if you believe in the Creator. It doesn't matter if you don't. That's not the point of this. The point is that if we look at the signs, if we look and we read the prophecies, if we listen to the voices of the indigenous peoples, what is happening now is beyond government. It is beyond country. It is beyond demographic. This is global, universal. All of creation is going through this change, and we are a part of it. It's time. This is the time to prepare. And your strength does not come from the external world. It does not come from the physical. Your strength comes with knowing who and where you come from, and knowing the truth that lives within your own heart. That's where we have to start. Thank you, Gerald.
Wonderful words indeed, Patty, and I'm very thankful at this point in time to have you and Sydney here. Try to bring this message home about the things that are happening right now. And as you said, yes, it is a spiritual battle that we're encountering. And which side that you're going to be on determines the choices that you make. And to be perfectly honest, in the discussion, what Sydney is saying, our own people here in Saskatchewan, we're discussing this, and it's affecting us on a worldwide basis right at this point in time, because they are definitely going to go ahead and do these things, whether we like it or not. So, with that in mind, what are we going to do? And that's exactly the words that you conveyed to us, Patty, which is the words to take to our hearts in regards to that. To remember that we are very powerful spiritual beings, connected to the source, to the Creator Himself, and His love, and all creation. When you connect yourself, and you apply those principles, that things begin to make perfect sense. Because you know and understand what your duty and responsibility are. You will carry that mantle to the best of your ability, no matter what happens. And we all know and heard the stories of our people suffering so greatly. We heard stories of the Inquisition, about what they have done. We hear many stories about our people here on the Great Turtle Island, on the pain and the affliction that they placed upon our own people. We could go on and on and on in regards to talking about these things. But the part that I would like to make mention is in regards to us being powerful spiritual beings. We are truly and honestly blessed with all the wonderful things that our brother Yeshua has blessed us with. He paid an awful price for it. He sacrificed his body and blood so that he could set us free. Free to go to the Creator Father. And our mother, of course, Mother Earth, who was centered. But in regards to this story that I just said, the truth, other people have many different versions about what they believe in. No disrespect intended, my dear brothers and sisters. But this is, I choose to believe this. I'm not trying to force anybody to believe what I believe. Because after all, isn't this exactly what the Dark Force has done to us when they entered into our land? They tried to force us to worship their way. And we know the terrible damage that it caused in the residential schools and the boarding schools and the states and all over the world and what they've done. Many countless of stories that we could relate. But like Patty said, it is a spiritual battle. For all those people that have lived and died under the hands, can you imagine just for a moment a loving Creator would welcome them home into a place where there's no pain and suffering? So the thing that we are undergoing, to be able to stand up no matter what happens, even at the point of death, we know that we will go to a good place, what we call the happy hunting ground, or the spirit world. When we're talking about the Bible, I just want for all of you that are inclined to use the Bible for your own purposes, and I will use this on this occasion because I believe that these people who wrote it were inspired to put these words on paper on what the Creator has showed them. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of controversies, a lot of arguments, and because of religion, which caused so many wars. Don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about this very individual in the book of Hosea in the Old Testament. And he was talking to the Creator in the ancient biblical text that was written in Paleo Hebrew. The Hebrew word for the Creator is Yahweh, which is very reminiscent to us as Cree people, because that word, Yahweh, if we attach it to another words, and I say Nehi Yahweh, which means be an Indian, to become the men and women that the Creator is telling us to be. This Hosea was praying for his people, and he was looking at himself as we are doing at this point in time when we look at ourselves and we take inventory about where and who we are. And I know that each one of us is searching, looking where the truth is. But the source, the Creator, knows, and He loves us. As Hosea said in Hosea chapter 13, verse 15, chapter 14, verse 1 to 2, if you want to use this as a reference point above what we're discussing, and listen to the words. Hosea lived before our brother Yeshua was born and lived here on the physical plane to bring us the teachings of the Creator that we lost, and I know that I need that. So Hosea was praying to Yahweh, and this is what he said. Listen to the words to see whether or not it resonates with you. Listen to what it says. And does all these things. does all these things reflect on what's happening in this day and age, in all the generations that have gone by and have went home to the spirit world in their own generations, and the stories that they hold. A man named by the name of Hosea, having this and encountering the same problems, which is a spiritual battle with his own people. And he was asking a very personal question and was addressing himself to the Creator. And he said this to Yahweh: "Forgive all my sins, accept my iniquity, bear my guilt, carry my liability away, receiving, marrying, and possessing me by way of your grace and unearned favor, conceived in love that makes me acceptable. The restoration of our relationship is the result of this communication with you." Hosea, in this scripture that I just quoted, do the people, our people on the Great Turtle Island in their ceremonies, is this what they are saying in essence? I believe so. I believe when men and women are sitting inside of a sweat lodge and they're pouring their heart out to the Creator in the Sundance Lodge, in a giveaway dance, in a ghost dance, in every one of our ceremonies that our people have practiced. Do we not? And all those people, in their prayers of prayers, asking for advice, asking the same questions that we're asking now. Forgive all my sins. Sin is a transgression against His holy laws. Yes, Canada, I guess, is bold enough to be able to say, at least they're saying we do have a sin number. Right out in the open, social insurance number. To the people in the States just south of us, that Patty, that you're from, social security number. Forgive me, because in my endeavor to wake up every morning, I have to face the world. And the way that I carry myself end up somehow, somewhere unknowingly and knowingly break His law. Does that resonate with me? Yes. Forgive. In the good book, it talks about our brother Yeshua dying on the cross. And He looks up in His pain and suffering. He looks up and He says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Accept my iniquity, as I am told by the elders," which is in reference also in connection to the biblical teaching. The elders told me when I was born, a cup was given to me. That cup, every day in iniquity, whenever I do something that is wrong, my cup fills up. All through time, 65 years of my life, my cup fills up. And it's filling up more and more. But I depend on someone in that cup of iniquity that I did. I need someone to empty that cup so that my cup will become empty. And instead of that cup of iniquity, to fill it up with cup of blessings. So he's talking to the Creator, accept my iniquity, bear my guilt. 65 years of my life looking back on my past. There's a lot of things that I'm not proud of doing. I've hurt so many people, even my own members of my family, my children, my wife. I am guilty. I am guilty to the facts. So I'm asking the Creator, bear my guilt. Next one, carry my liability away. Not what these people are saying in the dark side, I have a liability. They make the laws. I end up paying for it through my birth certificate in the trust fund. I am liable because I break their law or the Pope's law. So I'm asking the Creator to carry my liability away. Receiving, which is the sacred feminine, the return of the sacred feminine. The sacred feminine receives on my left side of the body where my heart is, to receive every blessings that come from the Creator, to receive, because I need that now, because the enemy is going to take everything away from us. I need to be fed, I need to be clothed by someone or somehow from some. This is our prayer, my dear brothers and sisters. We want to receive from a loving Creator. Marrying, yes, I am married to the spiritual teachings of the Creator. I am married to that. So, in my tribal and customs, all those teachings is because of the teachings of the Creator that I try to bring to all my brothers and sisters, whoever they may be. And it says, and possessing me by way of your grace, an unearned favor, even though I do not deserve it, because I cannot compare the standard that He has set by sending His Son, and His Son taking upon Himself the sins of the world from the beginning of creation to the end of time, sacrificing His body and blood, His soul suffering, as the good book says. He was wounded for our transgression. He was bruised because of our iniquity. The chastisement of our peace was upon Him, and by His stripes we are healed. This is what in the show, in the movie called The Passion, most of you have seen it. Yes, I was there doing these things, turning my back on the Creator, not believing in His Son, the Word that became flesh. An unearned favor conceived in love Everything that he did, his soul had to suffer. He died for us. And on the third day, he rose again from the dead. The dark side do want us to believe this. They do not believe this. But the whole central teachings of the good book, the Bible, it stands on that fact about our brother's resurrection from the dead. They cannot, and they do not believe this. All they go by is reincarnation. They have to keep coming back and back in following that great principle where they can never get full. How is it possible that they can achieve perfection when they do not follow the Creator's laws? They come to pervert it. And possessing me by way of your grace, an unearned favor conceived in love that makes me acceptable. The restoration. This is what Chief Wallace Fox and the meeting that happened in Fort Pitt, to restore everything that was promised to us. But our brothers, the people that came, are not willing to give it back. They claim those things for themselves, for the one world government. So we're telling the Creator the restoration of our relationship, every one of us, to have an intimate relationship with the great mystery, to show you the wonderful things that He can teach us about His mystery in creation. The Creator will tell Patty something, but He will not tell me. He will tell me something that He will not tell Sydney. In that intimate relationship, there's something that He will relate to each and every one of you that are listening, but will not relate to me. How wonderful that is to be able to realize such a loving Creator. The restoration of our relationship is the result of this communication with you. Sidney mentioned at the beginning, when he got there was a pipe ceremony. The pipe ceremony, for us to use as a sacred chanupa, is a symbol that we use to ask the Creator for His help. He has heard us. He knows what is happening. What Patty said and what Sydney said, Chris said. He is telling every one of us who believe everything is going to be all right. Just have patience. And in doing so, there's our struggles while we wait. But everything that we ask for is going to be given. Not through government of Canada, not through the province of Saskatchewan, not through Obama and the Pope. What are they up to? Only you can decide. They are up to something. The United Nations, all the people of the world are waiting in anticipation. But have no fear. The Creator loves us. So I'd like to stop here now and pass the talking stick, if I may, to Sydney. Go ahead, my friend.
Gerald?
Yes.
We're talking about Obama. When you talk Cree and you say Obama, just like her thighs, like the Twin Towers. We're talking about Obama.
Yep.
It sounds weird that at this time when we're going through that we're talking about Obama and being the central figure and how her, what that means in Cree, if that's the way we translate our his name into our language. But anyway, in that oneheaven.org, one time I was going through reading what I can read, and I was very shocked to find that that any man that was born in this earth can come up with that much information and write it down and organize it, structure it. But there's a couple of things that were said there that blew my mind. Some of the elements that were created for man, and some of them were not for man. And some of those elements were not supposed to be, it was illegal. Combine some of those when we're talking about chemicals, it was sacrilege to put some elements together. And when a nuclear bomb was created, an atomic bomb created, it I think it cost something out in outer space that made a lot of these visitors come to check us out. And because of that, I was convinced that some of these teachings it's outside of us. It's something bigger than you and I type of thing where no natural man couldn't have put it there. It had to be from some unseen force that wanted us to know these laws. And whether they use it for wrong or right, those laws are there. And in another area, it says there that mankind was given a time frame to change. Whether that be in another book, I don't remember because I read too much and forget some of the titles and where I got the information. But in one book I find that in a time frame, mankind was like an infant, and it was lacking, that it was just still like an infant. It didn't want to grow. So it was given a time frame to grow, to mature. Now, I'm going to bring it home a little bit, like you and I, for example, if information can be received like DNA by DNA, not by liquid, but by DNA, and we fill ourselves with DNA as knowledge. When we had people like our friends that wanted to learn, but they say, Sydney will tell us. A lot of people in this country, in these two reserves, Loon Lake, Ministickwood, and Big Head, that's what they say. Sydney will tell us. What if my DNA, I'm collecting DNA of this information in my biologically, mentally, storing all this information for me, whether I share it, some of that DNA has been in my, how you say, biologically, mentally, and spiritually, that regardless if I pass it to my friends, that they're not going to have that same effect, the messages that I received or learned on the road or my travels. I can't share some of those things with you, even if I wanted to, what the Creator has bestowed upon me. Only I received it because I was there And I was willing to receive those, and I was willing to make an effort to learn those things and to receive those things. And when I come back and I'm asked to share, some of that stuff that I brought home may not be mean much. The stories may mean something, but the effect of it is like, well, it wasn't meant for you because you didn't make an effort and you weren't willing to go there. You didn't learn it. All mankind is supposed to go out there and learn themselves. Every individual wants to know the Word of God, wants to know what the Creator is saying, and they can't hear it secondhand, third party or whatever. We have to go out there and want to learn it ourselves, grow. We can't have somebody grow for us. We can't have somebody go out there and while we sit around and wait and we have too many things to do. We don't have time for the Creator. We don't have time for the teachings, the learnings. So we have somebody to go and learn these things for us. I don't think that's going to cut it when the time comes. So this is what I'm talking about. How do you explain that? Is it DNA? How do you explain that because you went and made an effort to research and study and find the Creator, maybe you couldn't find it in the books, but the idea and the concept of Him knowing that you made that effort gives you those tools in a way that mankind cannot understand until a certain time, the appointed time, you will know, because you've been downloaded with that information without knowing it. And this is what I worry about people, that they don't know. They're not making any effort. They depend on somebody to educate them, and they themselves could be doing that themselves. Thank you very much, Gerald.
I thank you so much for all those wonderful words that you and Patty are sharing. I want to bring things home in regards to what we're talking about here. The number 666. Everybody talks about that, and everybody's aware of that number. But what does it really, honestly mean? It's that carbon unit that the Creator used to make a human body. The carbon atom, 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons, is the building block of all creation. Everything in creation has a carbon in regards to this. And in other words, the word Yahweh in Hebrew, YHWH, tetragrammaton, in scientific terms in creation, those 4 letters comprise of amino acids. And the amino acids is the building block that the Creator used to build other things. The 666 in the carbon, which is the carbon atom, along with the word Yahweh, is what the dark side don't want us to see. They don't want us to know. But we are revealing it in this radio program. It's waiting for you. So, I would like to give Patty just some closing comments. If there's enough time, I will close off for this segment till next week. So go ahead, Patty.
And thank you, Gerald. And I'd like to also ask Chris to say something.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah. Oh, is he gone? Chris, are you there?
No, he said he had to leave.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I must have missed that. Well, I'm sorry to hear that because I know that Chris has a lot of good wisdoms to speak on this. But I think, Gerald, it's been a very good show, and I think the most important thing that people can do at this time is to remember where you come from. You come from a place of love and a place of beauty, a place of abundance, of all those things that matter. And we have direct access at any moment to each and every one of those things, to all happiness. It's within our reach. What we have to remember is that we are all related. Every living thing, not just two-leggeds, but everything that lives, known and unknown, is part of who we are. And what is done to the very smallest of these impacts our children and the children after that. The harm we do is visited not on us, but on the future generations. We can stop this cycle. We can turn things around, but it has to start with each individual and coming to terms with who and where they come from. I keep saying that, but it's the most important thing, because when you realize that you are one, no division whatsoever, you are one with every living thing in this universe, then you understand how precious and beautiful and unique that we actually are to be able to be sharing this experience and being part of the whole at the same time. So what do we take back with us through this life? Do we take the things that cause harm, that destroy the very basics of life and life within ourselves? Do we send an echo through the universe that life is not sacred? That we don't see ourselves as sacred? Or do we stand together in unity, above and beyond any manipulation, any lie, any agenda, and stand with each other and stand in courage and commitment to the truth that we are one? There is no separation, and as soon as we understand that, then we'll know who and where we come from. And then things will be as they should be. You know? Just saying. Thank you.
I couldn't have said it any better, Patty, and thank you, coming from a heart of a woman, which is so critical at this point in time. What you pointed out is precisely the message that I want to give to all my brothers and sisters. We love you. I need you. We all need each other to come home to that realization, like what Patty said. And with that in mind, nothing, but absolutely nothing, can stop us. We will continue to grow, always advancing, climbing the spiritual ladder to the Creator. In what we show to the Creator in our souls. When we give Him back the things that we've learned in the Spirit, and what we are a spirit to practice those things on a physical level, is that we could look back at the footprints that we leave behind. And honestly, we can safely say, yes, follow my footsteps. Follow the footsteps of our brother. He walked the Americas, carrying out those principles to the best of our ability, no matter what happens. Because in point in time, when everything is all said and done, when we reach the spirit world, when we meet the ancestors that have gone by, all the people that you want to know will be there. Yes, we are a drop of water in the ocean of love. To remember that, and to live, and to continue growing in that. So with that, my dear people, my brothers and sisters here on Mother Earth, may the Creator bless you, your family, your people, and your land, wherever you may be. Till next week, may I bid each one of you a pleasant farewell and continue on your journey, always forever learning. We have all infinity in eternity to be able to advance. Nothing can stop us. So let us proceed in endeavor, holding hands in love. Hi, hi.
Hi, hi.